Good morning. So, you know what I realized? Well, first off, I'll post some pictures of this because y'all are my accountability. But second, yesterday was 21 days. 21 days. Remember, 21 days to make a habit. We know that's a myth. So, good question to ask you. I don't know if you're ahead of the videos and your habit. So, you might be on day 10, but you're watching day 21 in the video. This is day 22 video, I guess. Or if you are right on track. Here's a question for you. Whenever you get to the videos, this video, if you just finished your day 21, do you feel as if stopping intention right now would have made this new behavior automatic? So if you stop being intentional right now, do you think that just moving ahead, you'd automatically be doing this new behavior that you're trying to do? I know that I would not. Like, there's no way I would avoid eating bread at this point if I didn't know I was going to have to get onto this video tomorrow and tell you all how I did. Last night, went to Charlie's again with Eden, said no roll, and they gave it to me on a roll anyway. I was like using a fork and scraping it off. I was gonna throw the bread away anyway. I wasn't gonna make them remake everything, right? So that being said, yesterday we talked about make it unattractive, and a roll soaked in grilled veggie juices was not unattractive, but that's okay. Daughter, wife, sitting there next to me, holding me accountable, you all holding me accountable, having that accountability helps me press on and continue with this behavior. So yesterday, again, we were making it unattractive. So remember that frequency is the determining factor. Like with the Karate Kid, we got wax on, wax off. Eventually, just doing that activity over and over, that frequency made it instinctive, right? So making it unattractive is very similar. We have to get into a point where the frequency of the behavior is to make it unattractive. The key to transforming powerful habits is a mindset shift. So when you have a hard habit you're trying to break or a hard habit that you're trying to form, a lot of times it's a mindset shift that we're going through, right? Watching enough Cobra Kai right now that this mindset shift at Karate Kid is in my soul. So a lot of times in coaching we call this reframing, right? If you're looking at a particular situation, you want to reframe that situation to move from a positive to a negative. I'm sure many of you have heard the phrase, like when you wake up and you say, "Oh, I have to go exercise," right? "I have to go run," or "I have to meditate, I have to read a book," whatever it might be. That if you change that "have to" "get to," it can cause a different mindset in how you approach those activities. I get to exercise. I get to build my endurance. I get to meditate. I get to wake up each morning. Have an attitude of gratitude, and that mindset shift will often create the stimulus that you need to start making those powerful changes. Atomic Habits, he mentions a trip that he took to Turkey, and a group of friends had been sitting around smoking, or were smokers, or whatever they are, and one of his friends had quit. And when he dug into why that friend had quit, it came up that he had read a book, and the book was An Easy Way to Stop Smoking. And so when he looked at the book, or looked it up later, he realized that the book was just full of mindset shift phrases. Like people think smoking makes you social. So the mindset shift change for that was, you think smoking is something that you need to be social, but it's not. You can be social without smoking. In fact, more people will like the way you smell if you're not smoking. Like you stink to the crowd, so quit it, cut it out. You think that quitting smoking is quitting something, but it's not quitting. Smoking is bad for you. It's reclaiming your life, right? So So those types of bad mindset shifts, as they accumulate and pile on, can create powerful changes in your life. So what are some other mindset shifts that we've gone through? I posted one on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago, right? That I wish that anytime people looked at little girls and called them bossy, and instead of calling them bossy, they would call them a great leader, right? Like that's a huge change in how we communicate to others, but also how we perceive communication. We talked yesterday about how you can go two different directions with behavior. You can get stressed out and eat pizza, or you can get stressed out and go running. Well, it's the same thing in your brain. You could go two different behaviors with that cue. So I can feel jittery inside and anxious inside, and I can call myself anxious and stressed out, or I can say that I'm excited. It's that same feeling inside. I'm excited for what's to come, or I'm stressed about getting on stage, right? You look at somebody that's messy, or you know that you're messy, and again, if that mess is stressing you out, but it's too overwhelming to get to, instead of calling yourself messy, look at yourself as being open-minded and creative. Again, if you change the cue that creates the bad behavior, change the mindset on that cue, it can change the bad behavior. It allows you to go a different direction. So in a similar way, talkative, good communicator, right? I'll find a link and I'll post a link of good reframing words and situations. So look for that in the comments. That will be a fun one. Another fun step to finish off here is creating a motivational ritual. So we've talked a little bit about making sure that you're doing a habit right before, or a new behavior right before you have a stimulus that you enjoy. So it's kind of tricking your brain into thinking that you're getting a reward for your new behavior, right? So, because that's the final step, it's rewarding. Another thing that you can do is actually create a new morning ritual to go before where you would have done the bad habit, to put you into the right reframe and mindset that you need to be successful. So there's a lot of people that might listen to music to get pumped up. Actually, you know what? Speaking of music, Tony Robbins, in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, he talks about when he started making extra money, he started eating heavier foods and richer foods and eating more because he had more money. He could fill his cupboard. And he started putting on weight, and that did not make him happy. So Mr. Mindset King himself made it a new ritual to play pump-up music as he pushed his plate of food away. He ate what he needed to eat, and then he would intentionally push away the food while playing pump-up music to give himself a mindset shift on wasting food versus overeating. So it was now a good thing to not finish the food on his plate, which was a big deal for him because he grew up in a house where there wasn't a ton of food on the plate, so they had to eat all the food on their plate. So that's a perfect example of a ritual change that you can do. So think of something that you can do. What ritual can you create around breaking a bad habit like that? How can you pump yourself up? Is it a couple of deep breaths and a smile? So when somebody does something irritating to you, so go do something you like to do, deep breaths, smile, pet your dog, right? Play fetch with your dog, deep breaths, smile, go for a run. Your boss gets angry at you, yells at you at work, deep breaths and a smile. And instead of you eating that Snickers bar, you get a smile on your face and feel good about yourself. Again, that's a reframe, a little brain trick, a brain hack to teach you to break your bad habits by putting a good behavior and a good ritual in front of it. And eventually, you will associate that new ritual with that activity. So that's another fun tweak to it, right? Is eventually just having the mindset hack, the anchor, will create that new routine in your brain. So like Tony Robbins doesn't always need the music anymore to push away the food, right? Like eventually he associates pushing away the food with feeling good. A writer who would put on their headset and play music to get into the mood to relax and write eventually can just sit down in that chair and put on the headset. He doesn't even need to play music anymore. So there's a lot of little tweaks that you can do that. Again, I'll post a link with some other reframing. If you can think of some other tweaks that you've done in your life or that you've heard about, please post them in the comments. Tomorrow we move on to behavior law 3 and that inversion. Anybody remember what it is? If not, you can go back and check a couple videos ago or post it in the comments again. So thanks everybody. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.